chemicals and radiation in the water and immediately destroy them. Surrogate B drones are capable of attacking enemy ships at a distance of up to 800 nautical miles. It's like the distance from Washington to New Orleans. The crew of Arcturus has the opportunity to play a real battleship, but the stakes in such a game are too high. If the submarine successfully reaches the enemy coast, it will fire 12 nuclear ballistic missiles simultaneously. The total charge of these warheads is 1,500 times greater than the power of the little boy dropped on Hiroshima. Unlike Shark in Ohio, Arcturus doesn't even have to aim at a specific city, because the explosion of atomic weapons will cause water vibrations that will lead to a nuclear tsunami 500 meters high. In a few minutes, such a radioactive wave will wash away all the coastal cities of America. That is, 2 Arcturus submarines located on each of the hemispheres can easily drown all the island states and even cause irreparable damage to most mainland regions. If the United States uses the entire nuclear potential of its fleet in response to such aggression, a real nuclear winter will occur on Earth. However, there is one but. At the moment, the Arcturus submarine has not yet been seen. The Russian government has provided only a detailed plan for the new submarine, but nothing is known about its testing yet. Perhaps this is just a fairy tale to intimidate the government of the United States. After all, in the arms race, all methods are good. Nevertheless, the Russian Federation still has one pretty intimidating vessel, the Belgorod submarine. The Belgorod can accommodate 6 Poseidon torpedoes with a nuclear warhead with a capacity of up to 100 megatons. One such torpedo is about 20 meters long, and it's almost like a school bus, an underwater kamikaze bus with a nuclear charge capable of delivering devastating radioactive contamination comparable to a cobalt-clad beach bomb. Such an explosion will completely destroy all life on the territory of about 2,500 square kilometers. This is like 3 New Yorks. Belgorod is the only one of its kind, and only one such submarine since July of 2022 has been subordinate to the President of the Russian Federation. Maybe he really would like to destroy half the world at once, but after the invasion of Ukraine, we all know that the Russian military desires are clearly at odds with capabilities. However, submarines can indeed be a serious threat, but can they become a safe place during a global catastrophe? Only in the last 10 years, giant waves have caused tragedies in Japan, Indonesia, Greenland, and other island states. As a result, at least 30,000 people died, and at least another 20,000 went missing. Now, we already have a developed network of sensors that warn of an approaching tsunami, but the population often simply doesn't have time to evacuate on time. But what if such a catastrophe becomes truly global? Leading UNESCO oceanographer Bernardo Aliaga claims that by the year 2030, sea levels will rise significantly. The last time this was observed on Earth was 6,000 years ago. At the poles, melted ice blocks will crash into the ocean, resulting in a series of giant tsunamis. Huge waves will wash away most European coastal cities. And oddly enough, submarines may be our only salvation. Usually, the so-called tsunami bottom begins to form at a depth of about 40 meters. This means that in order to escape from the cataclysm, it's enough just to sink on the submarine below this depth. However, members of the crew of military submarines note that even at such a depth, the consequences of the tsunami are felt quite strongly. Even experienced sailors can easily catch seasickness in such conditions, not to mention unprepared people. What's more, the shockwaves from an earthquake can still throw a submarine aground, where it's completely helpless. And even if a collision with land can be avoided, the unnatural position can disable most of the ship's equipment, including batteries. But as an option, we can go even lower. At a depth of about 120 meters, we'll definitely not be pulled into a whirlpool, but such an emergency dive will involve a series of sharp maneuvers and overloads, and this can cause the overheating of the reactor and even its complete incapacitation. This is exactly what happened with the submarine K-27, created as part of the Soviet 645 project. In the nuclear reactors of this Soviet submarine, the coolant was not an ordinary water mixture, but liquid metal. Yes, just like in the second part of the Terminator movie. In practice, such an innovative solution turned out to be, to put it mildly, not the most successful. There were so many accidents with the reactor aboard the ship that the submarine was even nicknamed Nagasaki. So the tragedy just had to happen sooner or later. On May 24th, 1968, when K-27 was on regular trials in the Barents Sea, a strong storm struck, comparable in power to a tsunami. It caused a failure in the core of a nuclear facility, and the liquid metal simply melted the entire installation. The entire crew of the submarine, 105 people,